So, I popped into High House Insurance to see if they could quote for my house insurance rather than using the internet. High House got a great deal. So to celebrate, I bought a posh hairdo. It made me look beautiful, gorgeous enough to become a highly paid model. I then won Celebrity Big Brother. I had an affair with an MP. Now I'm promoting a doll of me that says, "Cool, blimey, you're well fit."
Happy things happen when you talk face-to-face with High House Insurance. See if we can beat your home insurance quote from the internet. Find us on the High Street, Selsey, or call 606 552.
Hello and a warm welcome to Manhood Internet Radio. I'm Tony Weiner, your host for the show. So what do we have for you this week? Well, we start the show as usual with Alison's roundup of things to do in the area, and that will be followed by answers to the last quiz, which I expect you are keen to hear. Al Keith has been over to East Wittering, where he has been talking to local businesses. He then rushes back to give us two great recipes, and we will end the show with a brain teaser. So, a busy programme, so let's get going, and it's over to Alison for a roundup of what's on in the area.
Hello and welcome once again to our weekly look at what's on in Selsey and round and about. My apologies for not being here last week, but I'm now back home and able to catch up on what's going on. So first of all this week, on Thursday the 6th of October, the Venture Club are doing an amenity run to Bognor. That will leave at 8:30 in the morning, returning at 11:30. If you want to go to that, you should book via their office. You can contact them on 605 115. That's the Venture Club, 605 115. On Saturday the 8th, it's time for quiz and chips. If you fancy those, then take yourself along to St Wilfrid's Church Hall in Church Road. There's also another quiz night being held at Selsey Town Hall. This time this is in aid of SACOS. They're holding a quiz night. Doors will open at 6:45 and the quiz will start at 7:15. The cost of entry is £6.50 per person, which will include a ploughman's supper. There's a maximum of 6 per team, and if you're lucky enough to win the quiz night, the prize is £50 for a first prize. There is a licensed pay bar, and you can buy tickets in advance from High House Insurance on the High Street. Their number 606 552. You can also have a look online, www.sacos.org.uk/tickets. So do support the quiz night. I'm sure it'll be very good, and of course it will be in aid of their next production, which I believe is Oklahoma. Also on Saturday, there's some live entertainment at the Selsey Royal British Legion Club. New members are always welcome there, and tonight's band is called Nice Pair. On Sunday, the 9th of October, there's a tabletop sale at the Selsey Centre. And if you'd rather be out and about, then how about trying pond dipping for grown-ups? Normally it's for the youngsters. This time it's for grown-ups. That begins at 10 in the morning and will last for 2 hours. The cost for that is £6 per person, or as usual, if you're an RSPB member, you can get in for a reduced fee of £4. Now, booking is essential for pond dipping for grown-ups. You need to ring 641 508. That's 641 508, and you'll be meeting at the Pagham Harbour Visitor Centre. There's another quiz night, so if your brain is still active, you need to go to the Royal British Legion on Sunday the 9th of October. They're having a quiz night. Now, two more general ads here. Does your child like playing football in a team? Well, if so, Selsey FC may be the place for them. They're looking for players in the following development groups to increase their squad. So if your child is in the following year group for September 2016, do please get in touch. The under 9s, school year 4. The under 11s, their school year 6. Under 12s, school year 7. And the under 13s, school year 8. So if any of your youngsters fit the bill there, do get in touch with Selsey FC. If you'd like the contact details again, by email it's diamondslm@uwclub.net, or if you prefer you can phone or text on 077 487 01552. And Selsey FC are hoping that you'll get in touch with them very soon. We've also had a notice from the Brent Lodge Bird and Wildlife Trust. They have an urgent need for stock. They say that due to the large rise in the number of wildlife animals that they're receiving at the hospital, they urgently need good quality stock, such as clothing, furniture, books and bric-a-brac. Now that isn't actually for the animals, rather they want to sell it at their shops. They have 2 shops, one in Selsey and one in Havant. So if you'd like to help the Brent Lodge Bird and Wildlife Trust, then do take your stuff down to them. Let's have a look now at the weather and the tides for the coming week in Selsey. First of all, the sea. On Wednesday, the 5th of October, it'll be low tide at 8 in the morning and high tide at 2:25 in the afternoon. Now that will change during the week, ending on Tuesday the 11th with a high tide at 7:30 in the morning and a low at 1:40 in the afternoon. Quick look at the weather now. Quite a stable week coming up, I think. Wednesday the 5th is forecast to be sunny at 15 degrees C, or that's 59 degrees Fahrenheit, with an easterly wind of 22 miles an hour. On Thursday, we're forecast to have sunny intervals, slightly lower temperature, 57 degrees Fahrenheit, 14 degrees C, with an east-northeasterly at 17 miles an hour. These sort of temperatures will carry on for the rest of the week. Friday the 6th, we're due for sunny intervals, again 15 and 59, with an 11 mile an hour wind, which will be an east-northeasterly. Saturday the 7th, same sort of weather picture, sunny intervals, 15 degrees C, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, with an 11 miles an hour east-northeasterly. On Sunday the 9th, the wind will drop slightly, down to 9 miles an hour, an easterly wind. Again, sunny intervals with highs of 15 degrees C or 59 Fahrenheit. Monday the 10th, light cloud, same sort of temperatures, and again a 9 mile an hour east-southeasterly wind this time. And then on Tuesday the 11th, sunny intervals as before, slightly lower in temperature, 14 degrees C, 57 degrees Fahrenheit, 11 miles an hour wind, which will be a southeasterly. So that sounds nice and warm for the week. Let's move across now to see what's happening over at Bracklesham Barn. Usual sort of line-up at the barn, always busy. On Wednesdays it's table tennis, drop in between 10 and 12. They're also running gyro kinensis, heart space, belly dancing and Zumba with Louise. On Thursday it's time for the Busy Bugs toddler gym, and this time it will also be the date for the Thursday group because they meet on the first Thursday of every month. There's an art class for children, and in the evening it's time for the monthly film. This month it's Florence Foster Jenkins. Now that's a hilarious and heartwarming true story about a singer who could not sing. She was a New York heiress who dreamed of becoming an opera singer despite having a terrible singing voice. The lineup is good. It's Meryl Streep and Hugh Grant. So go along at 7:30 on October the 6th. Certificate there is PG and it will last for 1 hour, 51 minutes. So that might be something to enjoy whilst our own cinema club has been delayed. On Friday at the barn, it's short mat bowls. And Sunday, of course, it's time for the Windrush Church Fellowship Group. On Monday, they'll be running the Vinyasa Flow Yoga course. That's a 6-week course. It's time for Little Ducklings Toddler Group, short mat bowls, yoga fit and ladies kickboxing. And then on Tuesdays, if you're worn out, why not try gentle yoga and relaxation? It's also time for Little Explorers to play and learn together. And there's a new Tai Chi class, so you could try that out as well. If that's a little bit low-key for you, there's also badminton and Pilates on a Tuesday. So that's about it for what's on this coming week. Hope you enjoy some of those activities, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Alison. Plenty of things to keep us busy. Now over to Keith for answers to the last brain teaser.
And once again we have the answers to last week's Kevin's quiz. Now, this might be a difficult one, I don't know. You know what Kevin's like, he likes to make them tough occasionally. Right, here we go. Kevin asked us which Radio 1 DJ who died in 2004 had the real name John Ravenscroft. Number 2, which small terrier dog is named after a 19th century reverend? Number 3, in Genesis, which garden were Adam and Eve forced to leave? Number 4, which Wiltshire's town cathedral has England's tallest spire? And number 5, which 84-year-old tap dancer was an original team captain on Give Us a Clue in 1979? And the answers to this are John Peel, Jack Russell, Eden, Salisbury, and Lionel Blair. And the connection? They're all British Prime Ministers. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. We've let Keith out of the studio in Selsey, and he's rushed over to East Wittering and is talking to Tony Haycock about his cleverly named business.
Right, well, today we're down in East Wittering, and we're going to be talking to some local business people, and they're going to be giving us a bit of insight into their businesses and what's available in the Witterings, and also into themselves and what they do for pastimes. And my first guest today is Tony Haycock, and Tony comes from Tide Bunches, which is a florist, and much more. And I'm sure Tony is going to tell us a bit more about that. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
Now, Tide Bunches, I like the title. It's TIDE Bunches, so that ties in nicely. We're living by the water. But you also do other stuff as well as flowers, I believe.
Yeah, we have an interior design shop, the Potting Shed Interiors, which is next door to Tide Bunches, where we renovate and relove old period furniture, whether it's 18th century up to the 60s to modern furniture, which obviously is for sale. We use products by Annie Sloan that we've used now for the last 12 years. Also being a stockist, which enables us to sell the products for Annie. Obviously we make money from that. What else would you like to know?
Well, when it comes to painting furniture, and like you say, you'll paint furniture from whatever period, somebody wants it painted. Do you ever get pangs of conscience? I know brown furniture goes in and out of fashion, very much so, and some of it can become very dated by its colour and that stuff. But do you never feel guilty about applying paint to a surface? Because it's pretty much like a house. Once you've painted it, it's painted.
Yeah, that's
Getting
right.
the paint off and getting it back to its natural state, but its former state.
Myself and my partner have had a couple of guilty pangs over the last few years. One lady brought in an 18th century serpentine, ostensibly a bureau cum desk, which was absolutely stunning. And she wanted it painted grey.
Oh, good grief.
It was absolutely beautiful. But it was commission work, which we do, and so it ended up being grey.
Well, that's right. It belongs to the customer, and if the customer says, listen, I'd like this painted pink, thank you. It's just down to you to comply with their wishes.
That's
I
right.
understand that, but it must be very difficult in those circumstances where you've got a piece of furniture that is probably valuable.
It was
far more valuable in the state it is before it's painted, and and you've got to go ahead and lower the value by painting it.
We're actually doing some commission work this week. A lady's brought in a whole dining room suite. It's a lot of furniture, absolutely stunning, probably mid-century, and she wants it all painted olive green.
Maybe she's going to use it outside and camouflage it. I have no idea,
but it's commission work, and that's what we do. So
well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the customer is the customer.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not always right, but they're always the customer. But it strikes me, and I've seen it done to some furniture, and you just think that looked far better in its original state. But of course, it's all a matter of personal choice.
Absolutely.
And then you can envisage the likes of Drew Pritchard in years to come, finding bits of furniture like that and saying, of course, if it was in its natural state, it'd be worth 10 times as much.
Exactly.
But as you say, and you will paint pretty much anything furniture-wise, or not just furniture, perhaps.
Anything, ceramics, leather, fabrics. Annie Sloan Products works on everything.
Is it really?
It really does, yeah. Honestly, inside, outside. But with the floristry, That used to be the main bulk of our business, but now we have the two businesses. They're sort of offsetting each other and working really well, because the floristry draws people in, then they find out what else we do. And it's just a knock-on effect.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to know that two businesses are getting on together and complementing each other and doing reasonably well. That's always good news in this day and age, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I believe you're a bit of a tough mudder. And by that, before anybody gets upset about me using the wrong kind of language, tough mudder is a sport, shall we say, for want of a better term. Tell us about your participation in Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder, okay. I did that last Sunday with a group of 13 friends. It's basically a 12-mile run over incredibly hard obstacles. There's one called the Ice Enema, which is where
don't even ask about that one.
Where you climb up a scaffolding, basically. There's 3 of you, get into tubes, you slide down into a pool, a 6-foot pool of water with tons of ice in it. And it's a real shock to the system.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Your body sort of slightly closes down, but then you've got to go back under the water to go under a bridge to get out. And by that point, you're absolutely freezing. So all you want to do at that point is to start running again.
Yes, I can imagine. You get some heat back into the body.
Yeah, you get the core strength back. And there's another one, I can't go through all of them. There's another one called King of the Swingers, which is basically bars you have to leap up onto and swing yourself up to an apex and then down the other side. So using upper body strength. And below you is 14 foot of water. So you've got 2 choices: to get across or to plunge into the water and swim out again.
Well, forgive me for saying, Tony, for mentioning it, but you're no longer in your 20s, are you?
No.
Or been a while since, perhaps?
I'm in my 50s now.
Well, that's an awful tough course for somebody that's, that's almost equivalent to training for the SAS or the Royal Marine Commandos.
But I must admit, I found out over the last few days that the percentage over 50-year-olds at this week's event was 20%.
How many survived?
All of us.
All of them. Well
all
done.
of them.
What can we say? They breed them tough down here in the woods.
That's out of 10,000 people. It was 10,000 people Saturday and 10,000 people Sunday.
That's an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
And 20% of that is an awful lot of people over the age of 50.
I mean, you've got 8-foot walls, you've got 17-foot walls to get over, you've got inclines, which is called Everest, where you just pile people on top of each other and they hoik you up to the top, which is about 22 foot. And you get all your team up and then go down the other side.
And you did that in the name of fun?
Yeah, we did that in 3 hours.
Well done, sir. In 3 hours?
Let me just say the last obstacle before you get to the finish line, which you're just aiming for, is a thing called electric shock therapy. It's, a space about 12 meters by 15 meters, and dangling down you've got all these 5-volt strings, basically. And you've got to run through them.
Well, it's certainly designed by a masochist.
It's good, trust me.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? I don't know how we can follow that, Tony, but did you come off it thinking, I can't wait to do this again next year?
When you get to the finish line, all you want is a free bottle of cider, which they give you, and a headband and a T-shirt to prove that you've done it on that day.
Yeah, and you can buy a bottle of cider for about £2. I think, for me, that would probably be the way. But that's a tremendous effort.
I think on the way home, everyone said never again. Then 2 days later, you're all up for it again, so we'll do it all again.
Well done you, that's all I can say. Well, thanks for coming in, Tony.
You're welcome,
just
thank you.
Filling us in on a little bit on your business, a little bit on your pastimes. And I'll let you go and have a lay down there, because I'm sure you still want to get some rest. Thanks once again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye now.
What a great business. Now another busy business owner, Tracy of Local Life magazine, is talking about their new ventures. So it's back to Keith in East Wittering.
Right, now one of the busiest business people I know in this area is my next guest, and that's Tracy Glidrow from Local Life. Morning, Tracy.
Hello there. I'm BizCard now.
And BizCard. Well, I was going to
Yes.
ask you about that, but you were in there quick because you don't let the grass grow under your feet, as we know. So, BizCard as well. Well, we all know that Local Life's a success, or seems to be anyway, to
thank you.
us that are looking on from the outside. But you've recently acquired BizCard and you've moved in
have.
there and you're doing all your business from there now, are you?
Yes, Local Life is based in BizCard now, so that's now the home of Local Life. But we're also running the print shop that was always been at BizCard, so we're running that alongside Local Life as well now.
So extra busy.
Extra busy,
Oh, I
certainly
can
at the moment, but loving every second of it. Loving having a village presence. All the people that pop in and say hello and get to do lots of
Because people tend to
local
do
stuff.
that,
They
don't
do,
they?
yeah.
I mean, if you didn't live around the area or if you didn't live in a village, you probably wouldn't understand that people do just pop red and say, good morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all right. You know.
Yeah,
And
and it's
then they go again,
fabulous.
yeah.
because we've got a big sign over the window at the moment saying under new management, so people are just popping in to see who we are, wish us luck, and it's lovely. It's really, really good.
And you think this is obviously you think it's a right move, otherwise you wouldn't have done it.
Yes,
But,
well, really, it's a natural progression on from the magazines for us, because with helping people with their marketing, it's a natural progression to be able to help them with any leaflets, any business cards that they want, a website, social media marketing. Basically, it's a natural progression on from what we already do. And we did it anyway as Local Life, but it was more behind the scenes. But now, obviously, we've got the shop and the shop front. People can just walk in and we can sort of help people that are our advertisers, but also other people that may not want to use print advertising for their business. So we can help them in other ways as well.
So you're one of these people that actually knows how to use the likes of Twitter and Facebook. And,
Yes, for
and
my
all the
sins.
other and all the other ones. Yeah.
For my sins, I do. It's not just me, of course. There's Mel that helps me with Local Life. She's my business partner there. And then it's Mel and myself and Keith and Derek who have all joined together to buy BizCard. So I could sit here and say, yeah, look at me, aren't I wonderful? But it's not just me. It's a big team that all pull together.
And that's all full time for them now, is it?
Yeah, it's full time for everybody.
Yeah.
So what tends to happen with the BizCard side of things is the boys are in the shop in the morning, and then Mel and I take over the shop in the afternoon.
Because I'm sure people think that producing the likes of Local Life takes a couple of days a month. And then,
I wish.
Exactly. And then that's it. So,
Yeah.
they're lucky they only work a couple of days a month.
No, it's more than a full-time job.
Yes.
More
yes,
than a full-time
and
job.
certainly has been from what I understand recently.
But I mean, it's amazing. We're so lucky that we do something that we love and enjoy, and we've been embraced. Every magazine that we've launched, we've been really embraced by the community, and we get invited to so many community events that we can go along to and cover, and we met so many lovely people that actually it's a wonderful thing to do. Even though it's hard work, it is really lovely.
Not a bad way to spend your working life.
It's not at all. It's not at all. It's not like 9 to 5, go in, do the same thing day in, day
So
out.
what areas does Local Life cover?
Local Life now covers Bracklesham and the Witterings, Selsey, Chichester and Bognor.
And Bognor as well.
So we have 40,300 copies go out a month, all delivered by hand. The company that deliver for us are all GPS tracked, and so we can watch them online as they make their deliveries so that we know they're being delivered. So
A useful thing, that.
very useful.
Many skips around the country full of
Yeah.
supposedly delivered items.
Yeah, they're
I was
a
a
lovely
paperboy
local
once.
company. So yeah, that's great, and gives us an opportunity to help lots of charities as well. So with each magazine, we have a dedicated charity that we help. So we can help people like Mount Noddy, Cat and Rabbit Rescue Centre, Snowdrop Trust, the British Legion, or all sorts of people. And we've also got our What's On section, which is completely free of charge. So if anybody has got any local events or anything like that, they only need to email in and let us know, and we'll put it in the What's On completely free for them. And if anybody's got any charity events that they need promoting, just let us know and we can help with all that sort of stuff as well.
Now, do you find that people are quite prepared to contact you with that sort of stuff? I know from previous experience that to get people to write in about their events, or to tell you that these events are taking place so that you can put them on something like a What's On page, not always easy.
No, it's not. You think of free advertising for their event, they really want to be involved and let us know. But some people do, which we're really grateful for. Others not so much so. And if we find out about it through various social media or whatever, then we'll include it. But the best way is to just give us a phone call or send us an email and let us know, and we'll include it for you. The Bognor magazine, because it was only the first issue, went out in September. The response that we've had from people for that has been magnificent. And we've had lots of people email in and phone in and say, we've got this event happening, can you put it on your What's On? So that was really good. So it'd be really great if all the others could let us know, and we can...
So when local life becomes about as thick as War and Peace, because it's become that popular, it'll have that many pages, people want to...
It never will be, because it'll be boring.
But 40,000 copies, I mean, that's an awful lot of copies. That's an awful lot of exposure for businesses.
That's right.
If businesses want to advertise, 40,000 people having a look at it, you can't go far wrong with that.
Definitely not. We had one gentleman that had advertised in our other 3 magazines for a while and always had a good response. And he decided that he'd like to advertise in Bognor as well, and had 40 phone calls within the first week of it coming out.
Wow.
Can't really be bad, can it?
Well,
was
it gives you some indication of what's possible from it, and what sort of returns you can get from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if that were people phoning in, that wanted to become a customer, even if you only got 50% of those that phoned in, it says 20 new customers.
That's right, definitely.
It's a big increase for a business, and considering that most of the businesses that advertise are small businesses.
Yes, they are. Yeah, mostly small businesses. About 95% of them have been with us since day one, which for us is great retention. It's working for them.
Yeah.
We also, not only do we put the printed advert in the magazine, we promote all of our advertisers on our social media, which has thousands of followers, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We put a link to their website or their advert, if they haven't got a website, on our website, so people can find them all of the time. Completely free of charge. We don't charge for any of that. Free advert design. We don't charge for that. We've got an in-house graphic designer that works for us full time. So all quality adverts come out. Nothing low resolution. So yeah, there's lots more that we offer.
That all sounds too much like a bargain to me. But that's excellent.
But that's what community magazines are about, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Helping the local businesses to grow their business without it costing a fortune. Newspaper advertising can cost an absolute fortune, and they don't do anything else but put your advert in the paper.
No, that's right. Yeah, and if you do it locally, I don't know how many people read the Chai Observer, but I imagine quite a lot.
Yeah,
but before I moved to the area, I used to be an avid reader of our local paper in Windsor. I used to read it page to page, cover to cover, every week. Now, I haven't picked up a local paper for 5-6 years.
No.
Because I think, well, if I need to know this, I can look in there. If I need to know that, other than that,
that's right.
There's nothing that interests me in all the other areas.
That's
whereas
right.
your magazine is centred on the area that represents.
That's right.
So your magazine that goes out in Bognor has got people advertising it, and it's about Bognor. So and the same for the other areas.
Yeah, same for the other areas as well, which is fab.
Well, I'm sure BizCard will be a raging success, much the same as Local Life has.
Thank you.
And wish you well with it.
Lovely, thank you very much.
I think you'll have earned your holiday by the time you get one.
Yes. Roll on Christmas.
That's it. It'd be nice to sit down and put your feet up at Christmas for a day. But there we go. Well, thanks for filling us in on what's happening, Tracy. And I'm sure, as one of the busiest business people in the area, let's hope you can find time to pop in and talk to us again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well done, Tracy, and we wish you every success. Hopefully Keith has managed to rush back, and we now go over to his kitchen for 2 mouth-watering recipes.
Right, well, at the weekend, I happened to be away somewhere, and in the hotel where we were, there was an Indian wedding going on. And when we came back in the evening, all you could smell was Indian food wafting throughout the downstairs hotel. Absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, none to be found. We were a bit late. Anyway, I thought this week we'd do a nice simple chicken curry and some roti or chapatis to go with it. So this is what we need, and this will serve 4 to 6 people. And we need 1 medium chicken jointed into 8 pieces, 3 tablespoons of mild or hot curry powder, according to how you like it, 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, 2 medium onions sliced, 2 to 3 garlic cloves finely sliced, 2 medium waxy potatoes chopped, 2 red chilies de-seeded and finely chopped, 2 tablespoons of garam masala, 600 millilitres of chicken stock, and 3 to 4 spring onions to garnish. And for the roti, and this will make 6, we need 225 grams of self-raising flour, half a teaspoonful of salt, 1 tablespoonful of vegetable oil, plus a bit extra for brushing and cooking the roti. And this is what we do. Rub the skin of the chicken pieces with 2 tablespoons of curry powder and leave them overnight to absorb the flavours. Heat 2 tablespoons of oil in a pan and fry the chicken until well browned all over. Remove the chicken from the pan and set it on one side. Add a little bit more oil if you need it, and then fry the onions, garlic, potatoes and red chilies until the onions have softened. Put the chicken back in the pan and sprinkle over the remaining curry powder. Add 2 tablespoons of garam masala, then mix well. Add enough chicken stock to barely cover the ingredients, then bring to the boil, and then simmer gently until the potatoes are cooked and the chicken is nice and tender. And sprinkle with chopped spring onions and serve with boiled rice and roti. And if you're going to make your own roti, we gave you the ingredients earlier, so this is what you need to do with them. Put the flour and salt in a large bowl. Sprinkle over the oil and add enough water to make a soft but not sticky dough. Add more flour if needed. Knead gently and leave to rest for about 30 minutes. Now divide the dough into 6 pieces and roll each one into a thin circle about the thickness of a 20p coin. Brush the bottom third with oil and fold it towards the middle. And repeat with the top third. Then turn the roti a quarter turn clockwise and repeat this process. And leave to rest again for another 30 minutes. Heat a little oil in a heavy base pan and roll out the roti thinly and fry on one side until it puffs up and is speckled brown. Or turn it over and repeat. Remove from the heat, allow it to cool for a few seconds, and clap corner to corner to separate the layers. Fold into 4 and wrap in a tea towel placed in a colander until ready to eat. Cook the rest in the same way and serve warm. And there you go, a nice simple chicken curry with some roti, and you can cook your own boiled rice to go with that. Nice and simple. Now here's something that was very popular with me when I was a youngster. Toffee apples. Now as I remember, we only ever got them when the fun fair came round, or that and candy floss. They always used to be sold on the stall with candy floss. And if you're going to make toffee apples, do be careful, because if you splash hot toffee on yourself, it can lead to a nasty burn, so do be careful. But make them and enjoy them. And this will serve 6. Well, of course it will if they only have 1 each. It won't serve 6 if I come round. 6 medium apples, 350 grams of demerara sugar, 100 grams of golden syrup, 35 grams of butter, and half a teaspoonful of ground mixed spice, and 1 cinnamon stick. And of course you'll need some lolly sticks as well. Put the apples on. Now, to prepare the apples for coating toffee, scrub the skins well in warm water, pat them dry with kitchen paper, and remove the stalks. Push a wooden lolly stick firmly into each apple and line a baking tray with some baking parchment. Put the sugar, golden syrup, butter, 150 millilitres of water, spice and the cinnamon stick into a medium saucepan over a low heat, and stir occasionally until the sugar is completely dissolved. Place a clip-on sugar thermometer in the pan, and you really need a sugar thermometer if you're going to make good toffee. unless you're extremely clever. And the sugar syrup will be heated to an extremely high temperature, so don't be tempted to touch or taste from the pan at any stage. Oh, the thought of hot toffee boiling on your tongue. Good grief. Increase the heat under the pan to medium-high and bring the sugar syrup to the boil. And continue boiling for about 10 minutes without stirring, and then carefully remove the cinnamon stick with metal tongs and leave the toffee boiling until it reaches just over 150 degrees centigrade, or the hard crack stage on your thermometer. Now, if you don't have a thermometer, have a large mug of very cold water beside the hob and drip a little hot toffee from the long-handled spoon into the water, and it should form thin, brittle threads that harden off immediately. So that's the other way of doing it if you don't have a sugar thermometer. And when the toffee's ready, stir once or twice with a long-handled wooden spoon. Remove from the heat and slightly tilt the pan so that the toffee runs to one side. And one by one, turn the apples around in the toffee, making sure they're evenly coated on all sides. And then slowly spin the apples above the toffee for a few seconds until the toffee is no longer dripping. Place the apples on the prepared baking tray and leave them to set. The toffee coating should become hard fairly quickly, and when cooled the apples can be wrapped loosely in cellophane and tied with pretty ribbons. And eat these the day you make them. Toffee apples, wonderful memories.
Keith must be out of breath now, but before you dash off to sample the recipes, we go over to Kevin for a brain teaser.
Hi, here's this week's Kevin's Connections quiz. 5 questions, what connects all the answers. Question number 1. Who was British Prime Minister from 1964 to 1970? Labour man, who was he? Question number 2. Which actor provided the voice of Darth Vader in the early Star Wars film? Question number 3. What 4-letter word can be a large fish or an old infantry weapon? 4-letter word. Question number 4. Which brand of crisps are advertised by Gary Lineker? And question number 5. Tricky one, but one for the cricket lovers. Which Kent and England wicket-keeper, who had 91 caps post-war, has been described by Wisdons as probably the best wicket-keeper the game has ever produced? Who was he? There's your questions. What connects all the answers? Good luck with that.
I'm sure you agree that was a challenging way to end our programme. No Googling now, so listen in for answers next week. It just remains for me to thank all our contributors, including Local Life magazine, our sound editor John Mullett, our presenters Alison and Keith, not forgetting of course our producer John Fletcher. So it's goodbye from me, Tony Wiener, until next time, bye.